Texas Congressman Troy Nehls joins us now to react. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Ainsley, it's good to be with you.
Good morning. This is so rare for them to say this publicly, even though they demonstrate something differently behind the scenes in our bilateral relationship. But to say it publicly, what do you make of this?
Well, I think Xi Jinping understands that the Republican Party now is in control of the House, and we are conducting investigations into the coronavirus. I filed a bill a couple weeks ago. China lied and people died, asking for $4.6 trillion from China because that's what it cost America, and it even costs more on the devastation to our economy. So I think he understands that the American people are beginning to realize that virus was created in that lab, and it was released on not only the American people, but people across the globe, and it killed thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions. So
yes.
I think he's got some stress on his plate. He's toying with Taiwan. I recommend you stay away from Russia and don't have anything to do with Ukraine.
Yeah, what does that mean for America? They say that they have this joint relationship, and it's going to be a driving force.
Well, I just think he has got to be very careful. I don't know if he has the bandwidth, if he's struggling over there with their economy, but I would highly recommend that he stays away from Ukraine. To think about supporting Russia in this invasion in Ukraine is not going to help him globally. I think a majority of the people across the globe support what's taking place in Ukraine, and they have a lot of support across the globe. So I tell you right now, though, he's a little frustrated because he realized we're getting to the bottom of the coronavirus. We just can't let this rest and settle. We got to figure out exactly where it came from, what happened, and then ask for compensation. That's what we need, compensation.
Yeah. We also need to rescue these 4 Americans, 4 people from South Carolina. 3 men and 1 woman went down for some medical procedures. I think she wanted a tummy tuck. Maybe she couldn't afford it in South Carolina. She went down to Mexico, bless her heart, and then she ended up being kidnapped, all 4 of them. Their minivan was shot at, then they were thrown in the back of a pickup truck and taken away. No one knows where they are. What happens now? Do we send our troops in there? I don't know how this works. What happens behind the scenes? How do we ensure that they get home?
Well, number one, it's a horrible story, but what we understand is that the cartel is in charge of the northern border there in Mexico. And what you saw, the video clip earlier, sad state of affairs. Some are saying that it could be a case of mistaken identity. It's got a South Carolina license plate. If it was a case of mistaken identity, I don't know why they would have taken them. But now I guess we're going to have to wait to see what the kidnappers want, if there's a demand for ransom. I don't think they're struggling for money. The cartels aren't struggling for money. But maybe they want to hold on to these individuals. Maybe they got a couple of their pals or a couple lieutenants in some of our detention facilities, and they're going to want to do a swap. Remember, Biden did a swap. We traded a terrorist, an arms dealer that hates this country, for someone in Russia that hates this country and kneels for the flag. So maybe they're going to try to cut a deal. But we're just going to have to wait and see what the FBI comes up with Mexican officials.
Mm-hmm. Any word on if they're safe, if they're alive? Do we know anything? Because in that video, you couldn't tell the 2 last men that were thrown in the pickup truck. They were being dragged across the ground. You couldn't tell whether or not they were alive or dead.
And that's sad, and you got to pray for those families. I mean, it was a very brazen act in the middle of the daytime, but this is what happens when you don't have a secure southern border, and this is what happens when you have a president of the United States inviting people from across the globe up to Mexico's northern border to get into this country. And you think these are attacks happening in Mexico? They are, but they're going to seep across into the United States as well if we're not careful. I recommend we take the fight to the cartel and use extreme prejudice, because they're killing Americans.
You know this issue, representing Texas. Thank you so much, Congressman Nehls.
Thank you. God bless.
You're welcome. God bless you.